Today we join Troy Sessions and his new bride Linda on an Alaskan black bear hunt.
I thought, this is what it feels like to be tore apart.
Hey, get that out of here!
We have critters here that will flat out kill you.
The only thing I can do is play dead or I'm gonna be dead.
And we also have information on grizzly bears that could save your life. Right here on the Best of the West.
Wing tent, farm pack, all the essentials. I'm just loading it up so I know what I have in my pack. If something were to happen, I had to hike out, I know what I have with me. And everybody that goes in with me gets that same treatment. They pack their own pack, they know what's in there, and they, if they had to walk out, they have everything they need. It's mandatory up here in the Arctic to know what you have in your pack. I've actually been stranded out in the field with somebody else's pack, and they didn't pack really good stuff, and it was a pretty miserable time.
I've been waiting all week to get out there, so let's do it.
Going on a epic bear hunt here in Alaska. I got all my gear, my knives, my backpack, loading up the plane, and we're gonna head out of here and go about 130 miles into the Arctics of Alaska, where I got some bear bait stands put up and grizzlies on these stands and some really nice giant black bears. In Alaska, it's all about survival, and I know this doesn't look pretty. This is a pack frame from the old days, back in the 60s and 70s. So worst case scenario, you have to walk out. You've got a built-in pack frame and it doubles as a backrest. And guess what else? Oh, we got a thermarest here, and the seat cushion is a sleeping bag. That's right, double redundancy for safety. It's just what it's all about. If you want to come out of the bush no matter what, plan ahead twice.
Oh, these big tires. Need a stair. A couple stairs.
Big 35-inch tires.
All right, I'm cinched. I'm ready to roll. What a blessing to be able to take a truly wild animal. No fences here, folks, no roads, no hiking trails. You cannot get here except by plane. 120 to 30 miles out in the middle of the remote Arctic of Alaska. Man.
Basically, you're going to land somewhat in the wind here. Ready for this? Yep.
Right now we're camped about a little over 500 yards from the bait barrel and around the corner, kind of staying out of sight. So the idea now is to hunker down, keep really quiet, and just glass that bait barrel and see when, and wait for Mr. Big to show up. And when he does, he's gonna sign the guest book.
The Best of the West is brought to you by the Wild Sheep Foundation, Cryptek Camo, Hawkins Precision, Polestar Outdoors, Hornady, accurate, deadly, dependable, HUSKEMAW Optics, and LongRangeStore.com.
When you're in bear country, it's important to be bear aware. Every year, thousands of hunters and outdoorsmen travel mountain trails, rivers, and streams of the greater Yellowstone ecosystem. And they are not alone. There are hundreds of bear encounters in this area, and for the most part, it ends up with the bear running in the other direction. But for the unlucky few, it turns into an absolute nightmare.
The whole thing probably lasted 15 to 20 seconds. Put a tooth through my skull right up above the temple. So they can do a lot of stuff in a short amount of time.
We'll visit with a few who've had close encounters with grizzly bears. Some have actually been attacked, and more than just sustaining physical and emotional scars, they have some compelling stories to share. We'll also meet up with Wyoming Game and Fish officials to give you information on how to survive a bear encounter.
I supervise the bear management program for the Game and Fish Department. I've worked for them for 30 years. Our bear management program responds to about 150 to 200 human grizzly bear conflicts a year.
In the middle of the day, I come over a little knoll, and I come a little bit about another 15 yards, and I notice movement off to my left. And I was scanning the woods, I was looking for elk. Next thing I see is this bear coming through the trees, just accelerating and just coming right at me and just grunting as she was running, just coming right at you, and you're thinking, oh no, this bear's coming at me, this is not happening, it's, you know, grizzly. And I glanced for a tree to jump into, but there was nothing climbable. It was thick branches. So I'm thinking, I gotta get back towards Fred so he can spray this bear.
Obviously, you need to use your head in a bear encounter.
I ran back towards Fred and I said, "It's a bear, get your spray."
You never want to run, that could instigate a chase.
I probably did the worst thing you want to do in a bear attack. I ran from that bear back towards Fred.
You want to prepare whatever defense you have.
He didn't have time. He jumped off the trail behind a pine tree, and I actually got right by him, jumped over a log, and I turn around and here's the grizzly right there. I just threw my bow out in front of me and just yelled at her, "Get out of here!" and took and whacked that bow out of my hand. Actually broke the arrows, and I was holding on that strong. Next thing I know, I'm on the ground. I'm thinking, oh God, help me. I yelled out, "She's got my head, she's killing me." And that's when she put on the power bite. That's the bite that changed my life. All they want to do is put down that perceived threat, and that's what I was. I was a perceived threat to her, for her cubs.
My team will respond to a call, investigate it, and then deal with the bear accordingly, or the situation accordingly.
Fred fought for me, laid his life down for me, which I'm very grateful for. And that bear released me, lunged at him, knocked him down to the ground. And I remember seeing that as I was crawling away as fast as I could try to get away from this bear. Now she jumps back on me again, just pounces me like I'm a mouse, grabbed my arm, started shaking it violently. And I thought, this is what it feels like to be tore apart. She's gonna rip my arm off first. She just kind of released me and went back towards Fred. He had a chance to find his spray, and he emptied that spray right in that bear's mouth. And that bear took off, gasping, coughing. The whole thing probably lasted 15 to 20 seconds. She did 16 inches of face and head wounds that needed stitching up. Put a tooth through my skull right up above the temple. Bit Fred, separated a rib from his sternum, just in an abrasion bite. So they can do a lot of stuff in a short amount of time.
So we have the spy camera over there on the tree because we haven't actually laid eyes on the bear yet, but the spy camera has. So we're gonna download that footage, come back to camp, and then we can spend the rest of the day figuring out if it's got a cub or not, which is very important. It's not legal to take cubs, and who would want to, or a sow with a cub. So that will tell us what's on the barrel for a long-range ethical shot, knowing there's no cubs on the barrel at all. We got ourselves a grizzly bear on the bait site. And you know it's a grizz because you got your pads and you got your claws sticking out. Black bears, they retract their claws like cats do. So here again is the back foot. This bear was here last night. I know that because it's rained off and on all night, and these tracks are pretty fresh. So somewhere between 2 in the morning and 6, this bear came in last night. Oh, I'm seeing a grizz. I'm seeing a big grizz. Oh, I think it's that big blonde one. It's that big blonde one, Linda. Man, Oh, we got a black bear. We got a big black bear on it too. Yeah. Can't really zoom in on it yet, but there's a big old blackie right there. See that? The black bear? Yeah, the Grizzly's been on it pretty hard, solid. And then did something. And then now the black bear's on it. And it's a nice black bear.
Yeah,
it's a nice black bear. Confirmed Grizzly, I think 2 black bears. We'll get back to camp, review the footage. Both bears are respectable. I think one's a little better. Respectable meaning worthy of taking. They're giant bears. We got a big old black bear on the bait station right now. We're just over there 35 minutes ago, maybe 40 minutes. It's the middle of the day. We're gonna get some great footage of this guy. He's worth taking. I just want to get a good look on him. We haven't seen any cubs at all. I'm confident this is a boar. Let's just get some more footage on him and we'll get him to sign the guest book here a little later on.
Get a closer look at him, and exciting.
The Best of the West is brought to you by the Wild Sheep Foundation, Cryptek Camo, Hawkins Precision, Polestar Outdoors, Hornady, accurate, deadly, dependable, HUSKEMAW Optics, and LongRangeStore.com. Over the years, the Best of the West has received some amazing pictures of trophies taken in the field from proud HUSKEMAW optic owners. We are so proud to see the tremendous success that HUSKEMAW Optics has brought to our customers. So in return, we've decided to incorporate a new segment into our future episodes. The HUSKEMAW Team Challenge will be a viewer submission segment from you, the viewer. Each week, we'll feature a hunt from one of our loyal customers and viewers. Each submission that airs on the Best of the West will receive a HUSKEMAW prize pack. And at the end of the year, our pro staff will sit down and pick a HUSKEMAW Team Challenge winner. The winner will be provided a Hunter Elite rifle system and a hunt that will be filmed and featured on one of our shows. So get those HUSKEMAWs and camcorders ready for some lights, camera, and action this year. Go to thebestofthewest.net for complete details on how to enter.
It's not like it is in the Midwest and back east. We have critters here that will flat out kill you. Whether it's night or day, it can happen anytime. You have to be aware at all times.
Our Wyoming Game and Fish Department and most of the people that I work with recommend the use of bear spray as a deterrent. We also recognize the fact that people can use firearms. That is a legal choice and a legal weapon that you can use. You have to be able to hit that bear in a vital area if it's charging you, because if you use a firearm, your intent is to have to kill the bear. Wounding that bear isn't going to make your situation any better.
Bears are very difficult to stop. You could go ahead and kill that bear on his feet with a firearm, but you got to stop him. And the difference between a firearm and bear spray is that with bear spray, you change their mind. You want them to go the other way because you shut down their keen senses.
I think it might help to habituate the bears to fear man a little bit more, because if you get a bear with that pepper spray under the right conditions, it certainly will stop them and turn them. And then we don't have a bear mortality, and we normally don't have a person that's hurt either.
At those close encounters where a bear's right on top of you, guys coming around their tent, there's a cub inside, and here comes mama, and they have to shoot right from the holster if you have no time to pull it. So it's quicker than a firearm, but you still got to train your muscle memory. Just because you have bear spray doesn't make you bear proof.
I actually carry bear spray and a pistol for the different situations. Most people cannot hit the vitals on a bear when it's running at them at 30 miles an hour and the adrenaline's up to here. You get the shakes, you don't shoot straight. I personally have shot at a charging black bear with my handgun and I missed him. I just right there decided, you know, if some situations the bear spray is better. At 15 yards, the spray pattern on that stuff's that big. All you got to do is point and shoot.
Studies here in the lower 48 states showed where about 55% of people trying to stop a bear with a firearm was still injured. I'm a conservationist. I enjoy hunting, but I don't want to have to shoot a mother just for her protecting her cubs. So with bear sprays, you're about 95% escape without injuries is what the statistics show.
I think it's a real serious personal choice that you have to make a conscious effort about. If it's going to be a pistol, then by all means, I think you should shoot that pistol a bunch and be familiar with it and know how to draw it, just like a cowboy action shooter.
What kind of cool lock. That's so cool. You can only hope for a black bear to come up beyond the second ring, and that's a shoot all day long. This one in the back, standing on all fours, he's as high as the 55-gallon drum.
I can't wait to get down the riverbank later and just get a closer look at them, and yeah, exciting.
Well, we've seen 3 black bears tonight, and most people would have probably shot one of the first 2 already if they were acting really nervous. This is why you take the time to sit back and, enjoy the hunt and watch these bears. Because this big guy just come in and he's the dominant black bear. He's not nervous. He's laying down. That's why we know he's the dominant bear. So if we're going to take a bear, he's the one. He's the oldest and he's the biggest. But we're still not going to take him tonight. We're going to get him tomorrow. Better lighting. He's not going to go nowhere. We were in here last night. We got a good look at that bear. All 3 of those big old blackies. And we're getting ready to go in again, and knowing that we can take him with 100% of knowledge of knowing there's no cubs and that this is a boar we're going after. And Linda, you getting excited?
I'm excited to get down there and take another look at him and get a bear down tonight.
Yeah,
we're ready. We're so ready.
I'm settled into my 5x20 and I'm gonna back her up because that's what you do in Alaska. There's a lot of bears on the bait site. It's late in the evening, the bears are just coming out, and where are they coming to? The bait barrel. We shoot a bear, we do not want it to go back in the woods, and we have to go traipse around behind that barrel in the middle of the night trying to find a bear while there's half a dozen other bears back there waiting to come in.
Hey, he's coming. He's coming. You're pretty sure?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the bear.
The Best of the West is brought to you by the Wild Sheep Foundation, Cryptek Camo, Hawkins Precision, Polestar Outdoors, Hornady, accurate, deadly, dependable, HUSKEMAW Optics, and LongRangeStore.com.
We're talking about bears, and if you're planning on hunting or hiking in the greater Yellowstone ecosystem, you need to be bear aware, and the more information you have, the better.
The visitors to the Yellowstone ecosystem need to be aware that they are in bear country and that there is both black bears and grizzly bears in this area. And a couple precautions that they can do is as they're out hiking and walking around that they need to look for bear sign, whether it's bear tracks or fresh bear scat.
Some signs to watch for if you encounter a bear at a distance is any sort of aggravation. That can be pawing at the ground, slapping the ground. It can be vocalizations such as moans or puffs. It can be swaying its head from side to side, sometimes excessive salivation. These are all signs of stress. In a closer encounter, if a bear is approaching you or even bluff charges you, these are obvious signs of aggression.
Bluff charges, basically their determination of how great a threat, whatever it is to them. And what they will do is they will run at that threat and then stop short of coming in contact with it to see and determine how great a threat is that to me. What we see is that bears that bluff charge oftentimes do that with their head up, their ears erect, and they kind of come in with a stiff-legged gait, almost like somebody doing a butterfly stroke in a swimming pool, if you will. If two bears are going to fight each other, they typically put their heads down. They want to protect their neck and their heart and their lung areas, just like we would do. So they drop their heads, their ears go back, the hair on the back of the bear, their hackles come up, and they run in with their head low.
If it's a closer encounter, you want to hold your ground, see what the bear does, talk in a soft monotone, let them know you're human. You never want to run, that could instigate a chase. You want to prepare whatever defense you have. You need to be really well trained to effectively use a firearm, because under stressful conditions, just like with police officers, accuracy goes way down. Bear spray can be a better defense for the average person because it basically puts out a large cloud of pepper mist in front of you that kind of creates a shield between you and the bear.
In Wyoming, we have both black bears and grizzly bears that oftentimes look very similar in color. Our black bears are often black, cinnamon, and brown in color, and grizzly bears in Wyoming are typically very light or very dark. The most prominent feature on a grizzly bear is going to be the hump. That hump is a large muscle mass that grizzly bears use for digging. Black bears don't typically dig as much because they can forage in trees. So this large muscle where this hump is basically is working these tools, and these tools are these claws. Grizzly bears have a claw that's about 2.5 inches in length or longer. Another reliable characteristic is the facial profile. And by that we're talking about looking at the bear's face from the side view like we are here. And what we're looking for is whether or not the area between the eyebrows and the base of the nose is concave, like the bottom of a dish or a cereal bowl. Grizzly bears also have a lot of hair right in here around their neck area, which also gives that impression of having a very large head. So you can see in this black bear, lack of a shoulder hump, straight facial profile, a much smaller head, therefore the ears look narrow and tall as a result of that. And then if you look at the claws are much more hooked. They're about 1 3/4 inches in length. That's about as long as they get. And typically the hair grows almost to the ends of the claw.
Yeah, that's the bear. He's got a real big head. He's real dark nosed. We just gotta wait him out for him to stand up and come out from behind that barrel and give us a good broadside shot, and then we'll take him. Here he is, he's getting up.
So I whispered it to Linda and I said, okay, you got your spot picked out, just squeeze that trigger, and I'm gonna be right behind you with the follow-up here. Wow. Quick, clean, and humane. What a great way to harvest a giant black bear.
I am, you know, it all happened so fast. I didn't expect him to stand up like he did and give me that shot. Last year we waited and waited and waited, and he just presented himself, and it was like, bam. Wow, I'm super excited. I can't wait to get over there and go take a look at him and just, wow. Wow.
He's a
Boom.
bruiser.
Boom. Boom.
Luckily, with help, I was able to get the bear on my Kafaru backpack and was able to stand up with it. And I was pretty happy about that because I didn't want to be cleaning that bear up and skinning that bear out in the middle of the night with all these other bears coming in and having somebody on guard. It's just a bad scenario to be in.
You gotta love Kafaru backpacks. You can do anything with them.
Good.
One bear in the raft.
Wow, what a great way to christen that evening with Linda's very first giant Alaska black bear.
like any other hunt, you gotta wrap things up, and that's what we're doing. We're packing this plane full of all the gear that we have, 2 tents, coolers, everything. Gonna have to make multiple trips out of here just to get everything out, and get Linda and Jordan and myself out of here. Clean everything up like we weren't even here is the name of the game. No trash at all. Leave it as pristine as when we arrived. Here at Best of the West, that's how we leave all our camps. Pristine is like we've never been there. Once again, it's been a great hunt with a beautiful backdrop of Mount McKinley. You're watching the Best of the West, Alaska.
For more information about the products and gear used in today's show, please visit longrangestore.com or call 1-866-754-7618.
That's pretty fun. How many black bears have you seen with that on his feet? Look at that. Nice bear, old bear. And his teeth are wore down to nothing. I'll bet that bear's 15 years old or more. Old black bear. That is so cool on his feet. Never seen a black bear with the white on his feet like that. Even got a couple white claws.
In the mountains of southeast Yellowstone, the Grable River drainage has the largest concentration of grizzly bears in the lower 48. And it's prime hunting territory. When it comes to this area, bear-human encounters are a regular occurrence.
I was coming down the trail, and there was bear tracks there, but there's always bear tracks there.
I was guiding an elk hunter up in the thoroughfare. We worked down through some elk. There were elk on both sides of us, and the bull we wanted to shoot was across the canyon.
I saw the bear tracks and didn't think anything about it. I actually had a pistol on my shoulder holster, zipped up inside a vest because it was snowing.
And all of a sudden a bear wolfed. And at first I thought it might be an elk, just because there had been sounds the elk were calling, and stood up and looked around, and about 40 yards away was a sow with 2 cubs.
But I heard this crash, and there's always a lot of moose there. I thought, it's just moose. So I kept on going, and then there was another big crash, and that crash happened to be a lot closer, and I knew, you're screwed.
She started coming right at me, and I knew it wasn't a bluff charge. And I went for my 44, but I didn't have time enough to get it. I unzipped my coat.
First thing I did is I looked back. Bear's coming out of the brush at 20 feet. He was in a full-blown charge. Made the mistake, according to all the bear officials. I took off on the run.
I took off running down the hill, and I saw some trees coming up, and unfortunately the tree was only about 7 feet high, and I jumped into the tree.
I didn't really think he was attacking me to attack me. I figured he was trying to ambush an elk.
Tree bent over towards the ground, and as it bent down, she came in and bit me.
Got 10 yards, looked back, bear was just about ready to grab my leg with his jaws. Was gonna try to get back to the river. I knew there was a 10-foot embankment into the river, but if I could make that river bank, it's only 30 yards away, I can jump off that.
And so she was shaking me in the tree, and I kicked her. Well, I was kicking her with my right foot because she bit me on the inside of my leg, and then she shook me out of the tree.
Got tangled up in the sagebrush and went down, wound up, kind of rolled over. Bear come flying in, and I tried to kick him in the face, rolled me over and overshot me.
And when she let go, I went somersaulting down the hill, she ended up turning around and going back to her cubs.
He just kind of reached out, grabbed me by the shoulder and sucked me in. And you could see his eye right there, and he's laying on me.
And she was heading for the hunter, and he shot from the hip. I had tunnel vision when I was looking back up the hill, and you could see the muzzle blast. And she turned on the sound and then grabbed her cubs and went over the hill, and we never saw her again.
I thought, okay, if this bear decides to let me up, I'm playing dead. So when he jumped up, I sucked underneath the pack, just a small day pack. He picked me up. He actually grabbed the pack, jerked me up, shook me around, and slammed me back down, covered up with my neck and stuff. And I've got a gun there, and I thought, okay, I'm gonna reach down there real slow. I got the gun, jerked it out, grabbed my glasses and looked around. He was gone.
Then we ended up making it back to camp, and then they ended up light flighting me out. I was okay. The only thing that was bad is it wasn't that major damage, but it was close to my femoral artery, and we had doctors in camp. They kind of assessed the situation and said if my femoral artery would erupt, I'd be dead.
The whole time I was never scared because it happened so fast.
That took place in about less than 30 seconds. Very rarely does anybody that I know of get attacked in the wide open spaces. It's usually when you're in heavy timber and you're concentrating on something else and you bump into the bear.
There was a spotting scope inside that pack, which is probably what saved my life. The bear actually bit through the 3 horns that were there, picked up that spotting scope, which was in a padded case, crushed that spotting scope bad enough to bust the lens in it, pop the mirror off of it.
You can be scared of them, or you can go about your normal routine and probably never have any problems. The only thing is if you do have a problem, you should be prepared, whether you have a firearm or a mace. And mace is probably the best way to deter a bear because you won't have to think, you can just use it. You know what I mean? Because I can't stress enough that you should just go to the hills and have a good time, but be mindful of bears.
Predator hunting takes skill and patience. And we join John Porter and Tyler Saunders on an incredible wolf and coyote hunt in Alaska and Oregon. Right here on The Best of the West.